about doing these daily broadcasts is I never know what direction they're going to go. I have a thought, but I always am excited about what is presented because the simple fact is when we talk together, it gives me an opportunity to share my heart. Well, today I want to share with you some really great news. And the really great news that I have is the fact that you can have peace in your heart. Now, I love what Paul said here in Ephesians 6:14. He says, stand firm with your feet prepared or fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. I love sharing what has happened in my life. I love telling people that, listen, there is an answer to what you are looking for today. You are not alone in this walk of life if you invite the Lord into your life situation. And one of the things that I love doing is knowing that wherever I go, that there can be some peace offered. You see, peace is that absence of personal conflict and warfare in our lives. And Jesus put it this way. He says, I give you peace, not as the world. He says, and I give a peace that the world can't take and the world can't give and the world cannot take it away. Now, in these days of uncertainty, and believe me, there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. I mean, we are looking at a world that is colliding like I have never seen it collide. And I've been following the news, well, since I was about 10 years old. My dad and I were sitting watching the CJOC news, and it would come on every day at 5:30, and my dad would get on there and he would be watching it. And so I began to watch it, and then I began to watch the different, news directors back in the day. There was a guy named Brent Seeley, and then and others came on, and over time I really began to enjoy news. Well, today, of course, it seems like daily there is news items. And one of the news items, of course, these days is, of course, what the United States is doing. I mean, if you follow social media at all, you know that it's a very chaotic and confused time. I mean, get this. For 80 years, United States, of course, was the banner and also the poster boy of freedom. And in the last 3 months, that has been absolutely shattered and broken apart. And last week, for example, the Trump administration decided we're going to realign the entire world economy as if something was wrong with the world economy and it was broken. Well, of course, that brought all kinds of uncharacteristically unpeaceful things in our world today. So people are trying to cope with that. They're trying to navigate that. And everything that unfortunately this particular administration does affect people worldwide. It really does. I was affected last week when all of a sudden the stock market was woo, woo, woo. And I'm thinking, my goodness. So I made a decision to get out of the stock market. And that's, you don't have to do that. I mean, one of the things you have to realize about the stock market, in my case anyway, I didn't have years and years and years to sit there and watch this thing come back up. There are folks and advisors will tell you, stay in the stock market over the long term. And they're right. If you have 10 to 15 years, it will come back. I mean, right now, for example, a lot of economists are saying recession, recession. Well, of course, that doesn't bring peace into your heart at all. But that's the beautiful thing. I love the fact that I have a peace that the world can't give and the world can't take it away. And I love to tell people, listen, you can have peace in the middle of this chaotic situation. You say, whoa, how can I get that? Well, in my estimation, it's fairly simple. Just give your life to the Lord and allow Him and His peace to come. And that's why I also like what it says in Matthew chapter 5. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." So if I bring into you a message, a good message of peace, and saying, listen, you don't have to sit there with your legs crossed, and you don't have to go yama, 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 because I tried that, and all I got was sore knees. But when I found the Prince of Peace, it changed everything. And I love that story. Now, there was a great illustration of that back in the 1960s. I remember seeing it very emphatically. There was a bunch of demonstrators, and of course, back in the 1960s and 70s, it was not uncommon to have, of course, demonstrations on major university campuses and even high school campuses. In fact, I was involved in a few myself. And I think about some of the things that we actually talked about and we protested. It seems kind of silly nowadays, but anyway, I love this illustration. There is a major um, protests going on in a university, and there's a bunch of National Guardsmen standing there. And there's this one particular National Guardsman. He's standing there, and the rain is coming down, and all of a sudden, this hippie begins to approach him. And he immediately goes into his defensive stance, and he brings out his gun with the bayonet, and he's all defensive. And the hippie just keeps coming. And the rain is pouring down, and all of a sudden, the hippie whips out an umbrella and puts it over top of the guardsman's head. And it just simply says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." And I thought, oh, what a great illustration. Here you have someone who's in a totally defensive position, someone who is high alert, and then someone comes along and offers him a little peace. And that's literally what we're doing. We're just offering peace to this world and saying, listen, you don't have to have tribulation. One of the things I love to tell people is, as it says in 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your cares on the Lord, for he cares for you. Jesus made it very clear. He says, why are you all that concerned about your food, your transportation, your clothing, and your health? He says, if the Lord can take care of the birds that are flying over your head or the flowers in the field, and they, of course, neither sow nor spin. If God can take care of them, he can take care of you. And you can have that peace today. And it's beautiful to know that that can happen. And I love sharing messages like this, encouraging people to say, listen, slow down. You're moving too fast. You got to make the morning last now, kicking down the cobblestones and looking for fun and feeling groovy. Well, this is not a Garfunkel and Simon song, but the simple fact is you can have peace that passes all understanding. You don't have to have that warfare, that inner turmoil, that conflict today. Just simply turn everything over to the Lord. I love to talk to the Lord about what's going on in my situation. Now, some of my conversations can be quite animated. I had some of those yesterday. There were some things that are going on, and there are some things that are still going on that I have to take care of. And I'm going, okay, whoa. But then I just step back and I say, okay, Lord, I'm turning these things over to you. I will do what I have to do. But I want you to do what you need to do, and that is give me peace. And that is beautiful to be able to communicate that and to receive that in a daily manner. So I like that. And I like to share that with people because you don't have to be, worried or concerned. And I'm not saying that there's not things to be concerned or worried about because, the simple fact is our world is really wild these days. Woo! All over the place. But in the midst of all this, you don't have to answer the chaotic or the confused. You don't have to answer the crisis and the urgent. Just step back. And remember, you got a brain. Use it. Use what you have. And you'll be absolutely amazed how things can turn out. Just slow down. Take a breath. And then just say, Lord, I need your help. And I guarantee it will come. Matthew chapter 28, verse number 20. Jesus said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So that's my little exhortation for you today. So if you like what you've been hearing and seeing, I always encourage you to press the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Robert Dean Steele. Have a peaceful day. Yama, yama, yama.